विश्वमेधिनि विश्वविनोदिनि नन्दिनुते गिरिवरविन्द्यशिरोदिनि वासिनि विष्णुविलासिनि जिष्णुनुते भगवति हेशिति कण्ठकुटुम्बिनि भूरि कुटुम्बिनि भूरि कृते जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते सुरवरवर्षिणि दुर्धरदर्शिनि दुर्मुखमर्षिनि हर्षरते त्रिभुवनपोषिणि शङ्करतोषिणि किल्बिषमोषिनि घोषरते धनुजनिरोषिणि दितिश्रुतरोषिणि दुर्मथतोषिनि सिन्धुसुते जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते.
Hi guys, thank you for joining the live stream. I hope the audio is coming fine. Yes, I'm late as usual, but it's not completely unintentional because many people don't get notifications and stuff, and many people do join a little late. So most people can see from the beginning if I come a little bit late, 5 minutes late. Oh, today I'm 10 minutes late. Yeah, that's not acceptable.
No. This
so I
is
apologize.
years of nature. Jai Ho.
Yeah. So welcome, Professor Lizelot. Hello, Mr. Sociologist.
Yup.
So before we get into today's topic, I would like to explain a little why I have again disappeared for the last few days, because I all of a sudden got about 5 songs to do, including mixing, arrangement, all sorts of stuff. And sometimes when I don't get any work, there's absolutely no work for weeks, and when I do, it's usually like this. But I've never had 5-6 songs at one time. I'm telling all my clients, okay, I'll start your song tomorrow, day after tomorrow. It's going on like that. But I wanted to explain why I wanted to get into what kind of stuff I'm doing for a very special reason. There's something I need to share with my audience specifically, because they'll understand how interesting and coincidental or mohajagotic this is. Okay. So most of you all who have been followers or viewers of my channel for more than 2 years now know that my channel reached the monetization level and phase because of my coverage of Kantara. I did a review of Kantara, and then I defended the song Varaharupam, and I argued why it's not really a copy of Navarasa, which is why I had for the longest time I had my highest viewership from Karnataka. Now it's at par with Kolkata. It's Kolkata and Bangalore are neck to neck in my viewership base. So and then coincidentally, the job for the translation of the Kantara Bengali trailer came to me only out of the blue. It came through people who had no idea I had spoken in favor of Kantara and stuff. And then today I just finished a particular music project, which I did without sleeping at all. I slept 1 hour sitting on my chair, and then I slept another hour a few hours before the live stream. That's all the sleep I've gotten in the last 2 days. So I got a job for doing sort of a epic, heavy, or a modern sort of an arrangement of a song about Lord Ram. It's going to be some series by some big shot producer, which I'm not supposed to reveal at the moment. The client was supposed to hear it today, but they'll hear it tomorrow. They postponed the meeting. But luckily, because of the sound that Cream created in Bahubali, I don't have to do devotional music like it used to happen 10-15 years back, for which you would require a lot of Indian classical training, which I don't have. So there's a lot more Western classical influences getting into today's devotional music, right? The stuff that's happening in the Hanuman, Ramaduta Stotram, Hanuman Chalisa tracks. So the reference track I kept for myself was Ramaduta Stotram only, and it has come out pretty good. Hope it's liked by the client as well. But you won't believe the next project I'm going to start tomorrow, day after tomorrow onwards. You won't believe. Some first time producers have contacted the friend of mine who created Ailoma Barite and this year's Bengali Durga Puja hit song as well, which is called Duma Ashe Notun Saje with Ankita Bhattacharya. So uh, they have asked us. They first told me that I'll have to arrange a Shiv Stotram. So they kept saying, at least my friend kept saying Shiv Stotram. So I thought they are probably talking about Shiv Tandava Stotram, and the rough reference track is that it has to sound like Kaun Hai from Bahubali. So I thought, okay, it's great already. I like this genre anyway, and I'm going to show off all my epic heavy arrangement skills in this song. Then yesterday morning, I get the news that no, it's actually not Shiv Tandav Stotram. It's actually Bhairav Tandava. And more importantly, the reference track for it is Chandrachura from Garuda Gamana Vrishabha Vahana, which I have covered already from my personal channel. So you see, insane coincidences happening. Atheists and non-atheists seek whatever explanations you will. So, Mr. Sociologist, today our topic is fake asceticism from different figures in all religions and different figures in the history of all countries and societies and different figures in modern day politics as well. So, what is your problem with asceticism? Why shouldn't people consume less and be poor to keep a sustainable balance in society?
नहीं पहले तो you have to only consider your musical career coincidences proper when you get Bollywood ka Kantara, which is going to be known as Kantara. Okay, then then we will talk about the great coincidences. Okay, next point जो है ये manifestation कुछ नहीं है, बॉलीवुड से आएगा तब हम मानेंगे. बॉलीवुड में
No, this has come from Bollywood only.
हाँ वो बॉलीवुड देख लेंगे बॉलीवुड को. ठीक है, अभी नेक्स्ट the point we've been trying to make. I don't have a problem with asceticism per se, but it is a force that is clearly misunderstood and overused in the history of the world for a variety of nefarious purposes. That's my point. If it were an ideology, if it were linked to a certain religious ideology, only one religion and all, it would still make sense to understand, something like, let's say, for example, we were talking about transmigration, right? You talked about it, so that is specifically linked more with Buddhism, Jainism, these kind of faiths. So it makes sense to deal with something like if it were very religion specific, but we can find asceticism in different parts of history, different parts of the world, right? So that is where we can find certain commonalities that are very disturbing, that are very problematic. Okay, so this is where we will continue the conversation, that why I find it a bit problematic and why it is actually the root of many problems in India itself.
Yes.
Okay.
First of all, give us some examples of in what all kinds of religions and which all sects of different religions there is asceticism, and what do you exactly mean by asceticism? Because someone is already asking, does asceticism mean like sannyasi?
Asceticism means a kind of indifference to worldly understanding of power and worldly enjoyment of any kind. Like, for example, you don't crave good food, you don't crave luxury, you don't crave a lot of material wealth, you make do with bare minimum, you fast, you don't have mutton, chicken, that kind of, you don't have animal food or very very what can I say, very very rich food. Okay. You don't even earn a lot of money, or if you earn, you don't spend a lot on luxury items. So asceticism in a way is a deprivation of the self, you deprive the self of certain material kind of material wants, not needs, wants. So it's more like, even if you have food, you have very bland food and that kind of thing, right? If you wear clothes, you wear very simple clothes, you don't wear very costly or very fancy clothes, that kind of thing. Even if you have a car, you can maybe use वैसे car, तो it's a very new thing anyway, you shouldn't ideally have a car. if you're an ascetic, practicing ascetic. But let's say you do have a car, that will not be like the latest Pajero or something like that, right? So it will be a very simple. All your life has to be lived on the bare minimum of what you need. Or there should be an appearance of that. Now,
Yes,
basically,
signaling that.
signaling that. Now, basically, when we talk about ascetic faiths, asceticism in South Asia, in India, वैसे इंडिया में ही बाकी है, सब जगह तो खत्म हो गया है. In India, we can talk about faiths like Buddhism, Jainism, which were the original like ascetic faiths, which dealt in mostly non-violence, ahimsa, that kind of thing, and depriving yourself of material comforts and all. Like Jains, uh, they don't wear clothes sometimes, they don't
Yeah.
partake in food sometimes, they fast sometimes on to death, etc. So that is one form of asceticism, that is the more religious form of asceticism that's there. We even have sannyasis, we have yogacharyas, we have all kinds of like practitioners. We even in among our we have ascetics, Hindu ascetics, Brahmin ascetics, all kinds of things. So we have people who do not partake in a lot of food and comfort and wealth in their personal lives. So yes, we're going to come to Abhay's, what Abhay said.
Yeah,
We're going to
we'll come
come
to it
to that
later.
eventually. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this broadly put, this is the form of वैसे asceticism could have many forms. Like for example, Max Weber spoke of how capitalists in the US and Western Europe, where they were Protestant, they were ascetics in their lifestyle. Like they would earn a lot of money. They were capitalists. They would earn like millions and trillions, but they would not spend that money on luxury. They would wear
Yeah.
simple clothes, and they would have a very like basic diet and all. They wouldn't indulge themselves typically.
Right. Yeah.
So asceticism is not limited to India or Hindu or Buddhism and all that.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Huh.
Because there is Orthodox Christianity, Orthodox Judaism. All of them have asceticism and fierce, militant
Yeah.
austerity in their lives and stuff, celibacy, etc.
Yeah.
Now,
So yeah.
yeah, go on.
Now, let's move on then. Yeah.
So, of course, the first question that will come to the minds of any Hindutvadi is that, and especially Hindutvadi socialists, that is asceticism completely bad? Because hedonism is also pretty bad, and the idea that sukhasya mulam dharma, dharmasya mulam artha. So if it becomes directly sukhasya mulam artha, then we see what happens. USA is right there in front of us as an example. So the times that of capitalism that Max Weber was discussing, it was of course a more stable and nicer and safer society, right? Or would you really argue that today's USA is actually better than the USA of earlier Protestant days?
No, today's USA is God knows what it is. I don't want to comment too much on the rubbish that's happening there.
Right. Okay, his internet is gone. He did.
I'm back.
Yeah,
Apparently,
it's
I'm
back.
back. Okay.
Yes, yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So जैसे देखो ascetics के खिलाफ बोला, ये सब हो रहा है. So anyway, the US as it stands now, I don't know, but maybe the US in the 20th century, early 20th century, like till World War, till maybe the 70s, as far as we can see, was okay place. I mean, except the civil laws and all that civil rights movement.
Right.
I mean, that was a good development, I guess. But till then, America, other than that, was a place where you could have your own way of life without much constraints. You could do businesses. You could get the best possible healthcare, education, all that stuff. So not too bad, not too shabby, I guess. So jobs, you could start your own kind of whatever. So America seemed, at least till the 70s 80s, it seemed okay as a place. Wasn't too bad. Now saying that is also controversial these days, so you can't say that apparently. So anyway,
so then what is hedonism good? Because
No, so why
a-
should we? My point is, why should we go to any extreme, right? Like, why should
yes,
we should either be Jains or we should be, I don't know,
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, Trump is, yeah, a good example, I guess. Or
yeah,
some rap artists from America.
right,
Why should
right.
these two be like the most contrasting examples of how we should lead our lives, right?
Yes.
So what I would like to talk about is, in a way, if we look at how asceticism works, it is actually a very, let's say, exclusive movement. Asceticism is not something everyone does. Okay, it's not. If it were common, then it would lose value, to be very
Yes.
honest. If
Yes.
everyone would give up on their material desires and matlab, if it was something very cool to do for everyone, then it would not have the respect and power it does have. Okay,
Yeah.
so somebody who fasts, somebody who does, let's say, Gandhi. Just remember Gandhi's so-called lifestyle, the lifestyle he upheld in front of the masses. That
Hmm.
lifestyle was very ideal. Right now, how many people could live like that? How many people could wear the that dhoti and whatever and live their whole lives, right?
Yeah.
वैसे उसमें भी story था, like how he
Yeah.
had his own pet goat that he used to carry around for milk and sustenance and all that, and how he his tours were funded by various businessmen. And that aside, my point is that, imagine you couldn't live like Gandhiji in your daily life, right? So
Hmm.
it was what this ascetic value system that we can find in Gandhi, this was there for a very long time.
Hmm.
This kind of value system of depriving yourself
Hmm.
of material comfort and benefits,
Hmm.
and wealth, and luxury, these kind of things were institutionalized by Buddhists and Jains for a very, like, since the time of Ashoka, or even before, actually.
Hmm.
So what we see is, if we read a number of sociologists and historians who have worked on this, Bronkhorst, Olivelle, Patrick Olivelle notably. I think you can pull up Patrick Olivelle on the thing. um, Patrick Olivelle is one guy who has studied asceticism in India a lot, right?
I see.
So Olivelle, Weber to some extent, but Patrick Olivelle primarily, he has studied through Sanskrit and Buddhist sources. And from there we can see how, um, you know yeah, this guy. So iska jo books hai, I mean you might disagree with him to a great
Hmm.
extent,
Okay.
but the main thing is that if you look at what he's saying, it makes some sense, because
Hmm.
uh, Olivelle talks about how Brahmins were not originally ascetics. Brahmins
Hmm.
were essentially householders. Brahmins were very much involved in the practice of power, and the Brahmanical sacrifice, right? The basis of the Vedic sacrifice, where you sacrifice an animal, and you do perform some rituals for your judgment.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
practice in itself was very contradictory to Buddhist and Jain practices.
Yes.
Now, for
Yes. What
Buddhists,
we learned from Irfan Habib's phenomenal speech from 1985 is that the very reason
yes,
that peasants were considered pretty respectable, they were considered at least Vaishyas during Chandragupta Maurya's reign, and later on they become Shudras, only because Buddhists convinced everyone that peasants are ritually extremely polluting because they are knowingly or unknowingly going on killing different kinds of living beings while doing farming, and especially the professions that definitely require some killing of animals. So therefore they become even more demeaned in society because of Buddhism.
yes. Yeah, and see, there's this theory of transmigration linked to asceticism, right? Like the
Right.
more ascetic you are, the greater
Hmm.
chance of you avoiding transmigration,
Hmm.
and you could transcend to the whatever, you get moksha.
Yeah,
But
a better
if you,
family.
yeah, or if you did it, maybe not that good, but if you did it mostly, you would
Yeah.
be reborn in a much better status, right? Because you have harmed very very few people or very few animals and beings in this
Yes.
lifetime.
Hmm.
So it was a practice for a kind of future reiteration of your life,
Right.
or your lifetimes, let's say.
Yeah.
Now, having if we extrapolate that to how Brahmins started becoming ascetic.
Hmm.
Now, there's this book I keep recommending, you guys might like, Bronkhorst's book on how the Brahmins won.
How the
Now,
Brahmins won.
yeah, that book itself, I mean, I'm not saying that is the best understanding of everything, and you know that has the best schema. You might disagree, but ये तो एक चीज था कि ब्राह्मण जो थे, the Brahmins, they had to face stiff competition during the time of Ashoka and the Mauryan Empire,
Yes.
okay, from Buddhists. Now, ये जो था, that when the Brahmins came, when Greater Magadha took over, when the Magad Empire took over, the Buddhists were very powerful
Yeah.
because of
Even
Ashoka.
Ashoka's father became Jain after retirement.
Yeah. So Ashoka's own worldview was very
Right.
Buddhist, and
Yeah.
his Buddhist was one like enforced Buddhism in many ways.
Yes.
So he banned animal sacrifices and all that stuff. So that affected the Brahmins a lot, and the Brahmins, their whole worldview was shattered in many ways. So
Hmm.
what they had to do is they had to adopt. So abhi banda kya karega? Either you sulk in a corner, or you like, if you can't beat them, join them, right? Like that logic they used.
Yeah.
So
When life
this
gives you lemons, you make lemonade.
yeah. So when the Brahmins saw that, okay, these Buddhist monks are really powerful in their area, and there is a book by Bailey and Mabbott, the Sociology of
Okay.
Early Buddhism, if I'm not wrong. So
I
they
see.
are saying that, जैसे if you think that Buddhist monks were just pure ascetics, right? That's
Hmm.
not the case. Buddhist
I
monks
see.
were very powerful. They
I
were
see.
politically influential and very, very important people in the
I see.
world. So yeah, this one, the Sociology
Now,
of Early Buddhism.
the this is of course brand new information to me that Buddhist monks were powerful. Now, some people don't understand the meaning of power and powerful. What do you mean when you say powerful? Were they telling kings what to do and stuff? And
In
were all
many ways,
Buddhists?
maybe not the kings, but certainly the nobles, the
Yeah.
powerful lay people. Like जैसे अभी आजकल, you guys remember मुन्ना भाई MBBS, right?
Hmm.
No, the second मुन्ना भाई, जिसमें वो
Okay.
जो
लगे
गुरुदेव
रहो
था
मुन्ना भाई.
उसका, हाँ, लगे रहो मुन्ना भाई, where
Hmm.
that really powerful rich family, Abhishek Bachchan's father, I
Yeah.
think,
Yeah.
Dia Mirza says
Right.
that, जो पूरा वो कुंडली मिलाना
Mangalik है.
वाला thing, yeah,
Yeah.
that Manglik thing or whatever.
Hmm.
And that Gurudev, they literally changed their names. They did whatever the Gurudev told them to, right?
Hmm.
So imagine now that Gurudev was not the prime minister or chief minister or whatever, right?
Right.
So
Right. Right. Yeah. Of course.
that Gurudev was powerful. That Gurudev
Yeah.
could impact these people, right? Their lives, and that's
Yeah.
what we're talking about. That these guys, because of their, and Bailey and Mabbott make an important point. Bailey and
Hmm.
Mabbott are saying that because they are ascetics and they don't have like a lot of greed and lust for power and wealth,
Hmm.
people would pay attention to what they're saying, because
Exactly.
they were arbiters in various matters. That's a judge.
Right.
Imagine
Exactly.
if you make somebody a judge who is not interested in money or wealth, he cannot be bought off, right? But if you
Right.
make somebody who's very corrupt as a judge, or a powerful position, put them in a powerful position, then they will certainly try to get they will try to get more money or something, and then you won't have the faith in that person's judgment, right?
Yeah.
So Bailey and Mabbott are saying that in many ways it's because of their ascetic lifestyles that Buddhist monks were actually very powerful. It would be wrong to think that they were completely cut off from society also, because
Right.
in many Buddhist tales and Buddhist the literature, a lot of literature, we find that the Buddhist monks are arbiters, and they are important people who are respected in society, okay?
Yes.
So यही extrapolate कर लो कि what Brahmins are doing in the epics, Mahabharata, Ramayana, later Puranas, okay, like
Exactly.
they are not a part of the mainstream political power. They are not
Hmm.
kings, and there might occasionally be kings and all. But look at Dronacharya, right? He's a very important person in the in the Mahabharata. But
Okay.
they are not, they are not, they are not sitting on the throne, the
Hmm.
Brahmins, right? So they might be like, sitting on the throne means you are actually
Right. Right.
subject to a lot of problems, because if you sit on the throne, you can be kicked off the throne. If you sit on the throne, you have actual duties, and you have problems. But you can sit outside the throne and be quite powerful. Yeah, Brahmins understood that. So they also started portraying themselves as very spiritually enlightened and powerful beings, like itna tapas kiye. Like, look at
Hmm.
like the figure of Vishwamitra. Now Adi Satya says Vishwamitra originally was this king who became a Brahmin. So jaise um, Adi Satya says that if you can study the Vedas and the later Vedic literature, Vishwamitra Kshatriya se Brahman banna was not a big deal. Okay.
I see.
Because he's saying that Varna was not so was not so difficult to change
Yeah.
in that
Yeah.
those
Pretty
days.
much. Right.
So जै क्या होता है, after the Buddhist influence and after the competition with Buddhists and all, then Brahmins slowly started becoming more and more जैसे they become more and more of an exclusive status group. So they start talking
Hmm.
about birth based Brahmanism and all that. So
Hmm.
this is not their fault exactly, because Buddhist monks themselves, the Buddhist royalty themselves were talking about birth based superiority. और वैसे भी
Yeah.
उनमें देखो, like we discussed earlier, that they used to say that you are born as a superior person in this life because you did something great in your last life.
That is
So
the problem with transmigration.
yeah, so transmigration के logic से these people very much believed in a birth based kind of nobility. Brahmins adopted that according to their advantages.
Yeah, and
And
Irfan
they
Habib
also,
again points out that the Shakya clan of, which is basically the Shakya caste, and it's
yeah,
respectfully
yeah,
called clan.
yeah,
Even before they joined the Vedic fold, they
yeah,
were, of course, they never really joined the Vedic fold, but before
no,
they
no, no,
joined the caste
yeah,
system, they
yeah,
were very, very endogamous anyway. They were
yeah, yeah,
basically
yeah,
having incestuous marriages. Irfan Habib
yeah,
points this out.
yeah. So देखो, that is the main thing. To secure power and privilege, birth is very important. And because Brahmins understood that, they started including these kind of narratives in their own work.
Yes.
They also basically they showed themselves in the Mahabharata. If you see Ved Vyas and other big Brahmin, important Brahmins, Dronacharya, Ved Vyas, a lot of others. I mean, you guys can
Hmm.
name some in your this thing in the comment section. Mahabharata, Ramayana, these guys play very important roles where the Kshatriyas are very dependent on them. Okay,
Hmm.
so uh, that's the thing. Like, imagine like you're an IPS officer, your job is fixed.
Hmm.
People abuse the chief minister or prime minister, but they don't really abuse you. Okay, you have a land grant, you have some kind of hereditary access to some kind of position or power or money. ओके, मनी मतलब
Hmm.
उतना डायरेक्टली भी नहीं, दान जैसे दान में लैंड वैंड दे देते थे,
Yeah.
you got a cow and all that. So you're basically, your
Yeah.
food and all that is taken care of by the state,
Yes.
okay,
Yeah.
or by some powerful landlord or something.
Yeah.
योर जॉब इज टू बेसिकली एडवाइस, और एडवाइस भी ऐसा देना है कि मतलब तुमको मतलब चलाना है थोड़ा वो, यू हैव टू गिव सम administrative advice or some kind of that kind of thing, okay, or
Hmm.
you have to do some
Yeah.
propaganda literature, you have to say, oh, this king is great, that kind of thing.
And
So
religious sanction, narrative sanction as well.
yeah, of course, and you can say that, oh, these guys descended from that god, and
Yeah,
you do some
attestation.
rituals, you do some rituals for the king and all, you do some prayers, rituals, all that stuff. So
Hmm.
it makes sense, right? So but an important part of how the Brahmins were able to become powerful again after, despite the Buddhist dominance, is by putting in certain aspects of their lifestyle into their own, like the
Hmm.
Buddhist lifestyle. Like just say they slowly started adopting vegetarianism. Okay,
Hmm.
this is pretty common. This is not even like a conspiracy theory. Vegetarianism was new in Brahmanism after Buddhism. I'm not saying that
Hmm.
we all should eat beef and all, but whatever.
Hmm.
Like It wasn't like the Brahmins were abstaining from meat completely like the Buddhists. Okay. So they then completely started giving up meat in many parts of this country. They started living more like they incorporate the ashrama system. So Oliver says that the ashrama system that these guys were talking about in the comments, the ashrama system was adopted by the Brahmins in such a way that you could be a householder and then become a ascetic. Like तुम शुरू से
Yeah,
ही
basically
ascetic
retirement.
yeah, तुम retire करने के बाद you give up on the world, that's fine, but have kids. Because the Brahmins knew one thing. The Brahmins knew that if everyone became a monk, then they couldn't continue the hereditary thing, the hereditary knowledge system, right? So here's the thing: like Brahmins were able to kind of incorporate both aspects, like the worldly power through their marriage and all that, and also because of the ascetic thing that they tried to portray, or they did also, that gave them power in kind of religious and social power, symbolic power. Okay.
Symbolic
So
power, yes.
they were able to adopt both into their lifestyles, and that made them really important people eventually. Like
And
they
in
sustained
Manusmriti,
importance well into the British period. So you can imagine.
In Manusmriti, we read, of course, that the upper castes, or I don't remember if it was just Brahmins, they were supposed to quit their families and become a mendicant and live just on bhiksha. If they have a son, or when their skin becomes droopy. That was, I think, the description as far as I remember. Then that is, I think, pretty nice, because after retirement, it can't be your show off dikhava kind of asceticism. It's an actually retired life, and it's actually a sustainable model. And especially because you're not supposed to you are not even supposed to take cooked food. You are not even supposed to take bhiksha if it is given enthusiastically to you. Only if a person gives it to you reluctantly, only then you can take it. And you can't even take food that's grown agriculturally. Only stuff that grows naturally. That's the only kind of food you are supposed to take, at least according to Manusmriti. Now सब कोई अगर सच में मनुस्मृति फॉलो कर लेता तब तो अलग ही बात था. No one, of course, followed Manusmriti really word for word.
Manusmriti was more like a manifesto for Brahmins, I think. Now when I say that, I don't mean communist manifesto jaisa, but in a similar way, right? Like you
can a guideline, handbook sort of thing.
A handbook. Matlab mano ki na mano, that's up to you. That's I guess, and that's the problem when you attribute caste to textbooks. That's the problem. कि ये practical और text में बहुत फर्क है, and that's always been the case, right? उस logic से तो communism कभी हुआ नहीं, and by that logic Manusmriti कभी हुआ नहीं. So same thing, right? So
real Manusmriti has not been tried yet.
So वो भी है. So this logic is there, but my main aspect of today's talk is that why asceticism is so powerful, right? Like we can see that even Brahmins had to undergo a huge change in their lifestyles and adopt vegetarianism. And तुम देखो पहले the animal sacrifices had to be made into vegetable sacrifices and all that. In many parts of this country, so they realize that cutting animals is a problem sometimes. So if you cut animals, some people जैसे अभी मतलब discourse बन गया है अभी, now you can't do it, right? Like some really powerful people said मत काटो, and then they were like, oh, what if we do that? And I guess they were facing problems, so they adopted. Brahmins, the brilliance of Brahmins is they were very adaptable. Like whenever they were changes,
which is why Hinduism survived.
Exactly, they weren't sitting and crying all the time. They were just, they said that okay, now this thing is screwed, now let me try something else. It's as simple as that. And that's why they survived. अभी का जो survival strategy है वो थोड़ा problematic है. अभी now becoming a commie to survive, that is a problem. But now, earlier it was there, very much there.
Even for example, in Tantra, the meat eating aspect as well as animal sacrifice as well as vegetable sacrifice both survives parallelly, because that's how tolerant this society in general just psychologically is. So the sattvic person who characteristically is sattvic, they will sacrifice their even definition of the pancha sacrifices that they're supposed to do, madhya, mamsa, etc., is completely different. Therefore, some people sacrifice the watermelon and stuff, and people with rajasic and heroic characteristics, they are the ones who are supposed to sacrifice the goat. So
Exactly.
One thing I'll ask you now is, therefore, a very specific nuanced differentiation needs to be made between just the idea of specific ascetics. We are not talking about them. We are talking about asceticism, because there's a signaling going on here that dekho main kitna garib hu. That is the main problem. We are not talking about just any poor person in the world. But before that, I want to just point out something interesting that came to my mind. That, remember, Max Weber points out, I still don't remember in which book, either in Religion of India or Spirit of Capitalism, that India had the least amount of anti-Crematism, which is India had the least amount of tendency of that, ये अनाउंस कर दो, वो अनाउंस कर दो, वो सब इंडिया में सबसे कम होता था, एंड बहुत ही कम होता था. India was always a money making society and a jugadu society. So when a society is very anti-crematic, okay, or had the least amount of anti-crematism, which did not give a shit about renunciation and stuff, in those societies, such fake asceticism doesn't work. In such societies, fake asceticism gets called out or is not given that much attention to. Because you see, in USA, up until at least 2016, 2020, Bernie Sanders had that impression that, yes, everyone from all sides agree that whatever Bernie says, at least he's not corrupt. That does not mean Bernie has any goddamn power in any way in society. Now Bernie का वो भी चला गया है, because now he's officially a millionaire, because after all उसका salary है इतना, और stock market में है पैसा, तो क्या करेगा? अब वो $33 trillion debt में है, इतना छाप रहा है, तो उसका भी तो stock market में उसका investment बढ़ेगा ही.
My favorite ascetic in America is Nancy Pelosi. Anyway, so
yeah.
अच्छा. Anyway, continue.
So, but you see, the funny story is that every lobbyist of every corporate company approaches every politician from all political parties. They don't even bother about talking to Bernie. They don't even seek appointments with Bernie. कि सबको पता है कि इस भोसरी वाले इसको हम कुछ कन्विंस कर ही नहीं पाएंगे, ये इतना एस्थेटिक है. But that did not give him any significant power in society in USA, because they don't give a shit about renunciation anymore at this point. Maybe in the early Protestant days of USA, Bernie would be a big shot.
No. Think about that guy. I was watching this series on Apple TV Plus. I think it's called Franklin. Okay.
Yes.
There, that guy John Quincy Adams. Okay. His lifestyle was the typical Protestant lifestyle where Quaker या ऐसा कुछ है. I think that, where he does not, like, Franklin को वहाँ दिखा है कि Benjamin Franklin was shown as a very flamboyant guy with like parties, girlfriends and all that, right? But John Quincy Adams comes and he finds him detestable. Like, matlab, you're a whoremonger, you're this, that, you're decadent, ऐसा है. So that kind of ascetic value system with power, that's very much there, because remember, Franklin never became president. John Quincy Adams did. Okay.
Yeah.
So asceticism has always been linked with power. Dekho, Bernie, you have to understand one thing. Trump, don't think of Bernie as an isolated incident. Okay, look at him in a structural manner, right? Think of how they portray Trump versus Hillary. Like, Trump is shown as a billionaire who inherited his wealth, who has like 50 girlfriends, says horrible stuff about women, drives around in cars, gives tax cuts to rich people, right?
3 wives, so many prostitutes and stuff, all that.
Exactly. Stormy Daniels, all that. Now, the Bernie, forget Bernie, look at Hillary, the way they portrayed her, right? So look at how they portray Kamala. Look at his opponents, like what the Dems portray them as. They are more ascetic and more apparently more less power hungry than Trump, right? Look at Obama. Obama was a nice guy,
community organizer.
Biden is a middle class guy, simple middle class guy whose son is into like all sorts of extracurricular activities. Anyway, so my point is that the ascetic aspect becomes powerful always because it talks about a personal personal value system of a person that is very anti-logical. Like, imagine if you're given, let's say you had a choice between being uh, Trump before he was president, like till he was celebrated and powerful and rich and all
Yeah.
that. After president ban gaya to uska khatam pura, wo chhod do. Like pre 2016 Trump or pre 2016 Bernie, who would you rather be? Typically, normally,
Yeah.
most people would say I'd love to be Trump, right? Nobody would say I'd love to be
Yeah.
Bernie.
And Trump was a New York Democrat. He was liked by every liberal in the country.
Yeah.
He was a
Now
fun-loving, cute,
he was
rich
rich.
person.
He was going on Oprah and all that. He was having
Yeah.
food and he was enjoying. He was doing WWE, this, that, whatever crap, right? Now,
Yeah.
uske opposite mein, like normally most people given the option would want to be somebody like Trump, would want to be rich and powerful.
Yeah.
That part is there. Now, why Bernie is celebrated is because, like, typically a person would not say I want to be like Bernie. Typically, most people will not say I want to be like Mahatma Gandhi. Okay. Even if I have to fight for independence, better to be somebody like Sardar Patel or at the Jawaharlal Nehru, right? You can even be prime minister and flirt with women. So better to be something like that. Nobody would choose.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, we don't know if he
know,
flirted.
but allegedly hanging out with a lot of women and all that. Well, my point is this, that normal people like you and me, middle class people, will always go for more wealth and power. It's a normal thing. It's very normal. But an ascetic person will act like he doesn't care about all these things.
Yeah.
That's what gives him or her more power. Imagine what Gandhi did. This Sangha versus Shatra, right? Like this Brahma versus Shatra. This divide between the Sangha and the state. Ashoka versus and the Sangha. So apparently Ashoka and the Sangha did not meet, but Jobio, the Sangha did his ideological way. The Dhamma concept of Ashoka was very much perfected by the Sangha. Sangha was a group of monastics who were Buddhist, right? So, say you can talk about all these gurus who would talk to, we're talking about Gandhi because he's important. That's why. Anyway, so, jaise Brahma versus Shatra, this definition, this divide, that Dumo took very seriously, by the way. Dumo said ki Brahma is above Shatra. Okay, because according to him, the religious power of Brahmins is greater than the actual power of the Kshatriyas. Okay, so wo alag baat hai, but that's the main thing, right? Like that's what they wanted to show ki dekho bhai, jaise Vedvyas, remember what Vedvyas did when Pandu and all were down. Not Pandu ka baap kaun tha? Wo that guy. Are Pandu ka baap kaun tha in Mahabharata?
I have no clue.
Are that guy, I keep forgetting his name.
Anyway, who is Pandu?
Pandu मतलब वो पांडव का बाप था ना.
Oh, अच्छा.
पांडु का बाप कौन था?
Whoever it is, let's say person
I mean, basically Vedvyas had to like be the sperm donor for these guys, right? So I mean, I'm not talking about the sperm donor. I'm talking about the the official father. Vedvyas was the biological father of those guys. So hear me out. So that's how these guys, Vichitra Virja. Yeah. Vichitra Virja was the father of Pandu and all.
I see.
So these the Vedvyas had to kind of Vedvyas ka power jo tha, because he was a Brahmin, right? He had that, like, he could perform without being an actual king. Like he could produce kings without being the actual king, right? And he came to the rescue of the Kshatriyas. That's what Brahmins did. Like Kshatriyas messed up in some way or the other, and then the Brahmins would step in and say, bro, okay, fine, I'll save you for this one instance or whatever, and you can thank me later, that kind of thing. All the great Kshatriyas who bowed down to Brahmins would ultimately, whatever, like they would dominate eventually, right? It's there in the Mahabharata and Ramayana and Puranas. Now the main part here is that basically the source of spiritual and political power of the Brahmins stemmed from their asceticism, stemmed from the fact that they did tapasya, they were research scholars and scientists, and great bureaucrats, or like very educated, the people we look up to now, like Abdul Kalam and all that, they were versions of these guys. The Brahmins were these guys
Actually,
who existed.
although you could argue that today's IAS, babus, bureaucrats, academics, judges, lawyers, all of them are the equivalents of Brahmins of yesteryears, but in this context, it's specifically academics, because that's what Neenad has also hinted at, which
Yeah,
which
yeah,
was
yeah.
going to be my next point, that even this is inevitable. This is not, again, a specific criticism of specific Brahmins or Buddhists or specific Orthodox Christians. This is also an inevitable situation in society,
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
whoever is
Exactly.
actually leading a ascetic life just because he likes it, or actually is showing it off, will always get extra respect in society. But we must
Yeah,
also therefore be forever on the watch for the fake ones, because
yeah,
today academics get that same respect because they are not at least as rich as bureaucrats, even though they may very well be, but they are never showing it off. All you think of when you visualize an academic is a nice guy in a room full of gigantic bookshelves. That's all you think when you
yeah, 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 yeah.
hear the word
Look at
academic.
what people say about
That is the
Abdul Kalam.
power.
Abdul Kalam के बारे में क्या बोलते हैं? Like first thing people say,
Hmm.
what do they say? Like all he had were books, right? He didn't even have a lot of clothes and all that.
Hmm.
First thing people say about him, right? So that's the whole thing. Like if you can show that जैसे देखो, there's a paper by Stark, Rodney Stark, called Upper Class Asceticism, that I was telling you about the other day.
Hmm.
Now this paper is very interesting because it totally confirmed my views. Not just because it confirmed me, because whatever, but academics bolo ki jo bhi bolo, the people becoming, जैसे if a poor man starves, poor man doesn't have a Mercedes, that's not a ascetic thing, because
Yeah.
उसके पास choice नहीं है.
Hmm.
He has to starve, right?
Hmm.
Now why does a privileged person, like why does Rahul Gandhi walking on the road with a common man make so
Yeah.
much have so
Yeah.
much meaning? Because Rahul Gandhi can choose to chill in his house all the time. Okay, but he chooses not to, and he is walking. जैसे अभी seriously, obviously we don't believe that crap, but my
Yeah, for
point
power.
is,
He's doing it for power, and that is the point specifically today.
yes, that it is a greater vehicle for power. Okay,
Yes.
जैसे imagine this, that academics मतलब you have certain level of intelligence, and typically देखो academic, you will not find a very very poor person becoming an academic, right? Professor, doctor, ये सब तुम एकदम गरीब एकदम भिखारी लोगों को नहीं बनने
But
देखोगे.
at least not in liberal arts. They will go into
Yeah,
STEM.
yeah. Even if you, yeah, that's true. Now, what these people, you can think that, oh, Amartya Sen could have used this intelligence to become a CEO and earn a lot of money, but he didn't.
Yeah.
He lives in a small house, he wears very simple clothes, and he's whatever, Nobel Prize winner, whatever. Jobio, I mean, whether that's true or not, it doesn't matter. But it is the simplicity of the academics. You will not see an academic wear fancy clothes unless they're
Yeah.
trying to make a stupid statement. Okay.
Yeah.
Typically an academic will wear very simple average common man clothes, लेकिन कुर्ता पहनेंगे very simple, no designer frills. वो फैब इंडिया से होगा, वो अलग बात है, बट ये फैब इंडिया का सबसे सिंपल डिजाइन पहनेंगे, वो जोड़ी वोड़ी वो शेरवानी पहन के नहीं आएंगे काम में.
Yeah. Sanjeev Sanyal has destroyed these people sarcastically in his
Yeah,
fiction
in
book.
that wonderful short story. So my point is this, that asceticism, as we see that जो भी ascetic बन पाता है, they are close to power. Okay, they may not be in power,
Yes.
they are certainly close to power.
Proximity to
Okay.
power is always an inevitable game. Closeness to power centers and proximity to power. But
Nina has asked
before
a very
you
good
elaborate
question.
further,
Ha,
can you
ha.
just take M. Shastri's question a little? Do you know that
How
much of
can
Mahabharata
you
and stuff to
say
answer
it's
this?
because of ritual position?
This was a follow-up after this question.
Mahabharata, and they describe his lineage to show he comes from royalty. Yeah, but he was an ascetic, right? Like he wasn't a king sitting on a throne. He was an ascetic, and he was a researcher. He was a great scribe. He was like a really powerful, क्या बोले, intellectual, right? He wasn't sitting on the throne of any kingdom. सो उसको अगली भी बोला गया कैसे, मतलब he was out in the मतलब world, right? He was not sitting in an air conditioned room, right?
Okay.
he was not, he was out in the sun. He was uh, maybe getting burned by the sun, wet in the rain, frozen by the cold, ऐसे ऐसे टाइप का आदमी कहाँ एसी
Yeah.
रूम में बैठे एकदम चिल मार रहा है, वैसा नहीं है. नॉट गेटिंग अ लॉट ऑफ फूड टू ईट, व्हाटएवर. माय पॉइंट इज दिस दैट Vedvyas mane giving birth to a line of kings was okay, like that was a power strategy by Brahmins to show that they can, like when the kings mess up, they step in to change the thing. Okay, they step in to save the royalty, but they can do it without attachment because they are so powerful. वैसे कोई भिखारी को लेके मतलब कोई रैंडम भिखारी को ले आके नहीं करेंगे. वह नोबल ब्राह्मण
Exactly.
को ही करेंगे, पराशर मुनि के बेटे को ही करेंगे, राइट? सो दैट्स
Yes.
द थिंग.
So now Niner's fantastic question. So let me take this a little first of all. Then you can come in.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yes, I actually had never thought of it this way. But see, the problem with Savarkar was that he never faked anything.
yeah,
He
yeah,
was an out and out. He was whatever was in his head. You were seeing in his work, in his action, in his
yeah,
face.
yeah,
He was never faking anything. He was a proper idealist, a proper a true patriot, and he never tried to play the game and stuff. He was a strategist, of course. His strategy was never about dishonesty and never about
yeah.
gaming the system or playing the system and stuff. And the main problem is that he never tried to uh, just see the difference between him and every congressee. He did everything the congressies didn't do, and on top of that he also didn't show off his fake asceticism. He was an ascetic in his personal life. Of course, he did wear nice clothes and stuff. He liked to wear at least clean clothes and stuff. He would not wear dirty clothes just to show off his poverty or show off his asceticism. But the brilliance of the
So let's say
Savarkar
we're
movie
talking about
was
peak Savarkar, right? We're talking about young Savarkar. He's
yeah,
eating meat and stuff. गांधी जैसे
exactly,
मतलब दिखावा कर रहा है.
yeah.
गांधी was talking about हाँ हम सबको वेज खाना पड़ेगा, हम
सावरकर ने
सबको meat
दिखावा
खाना है.
कभी नहीं किया. यही तो
दिखावा
उसका
नहीं है.
प्रॉब्लम है.
तुमको दिखा, तुम ऐसे घर में बैठ के एसेटिज्म करोगे, तुमको कोई फायदा नहीं मिलने वाला.
Yeah. I have a hunch
Like,
that Savarkar was probably not even an atheist. He said he's an atheist just to come across as the rational guy.
yeah.
And the brilliance of one of the many brilliant aspects of the Savarkar movie was that in the end they showed that the key contrast between Gandhi and Savarkar, that Gandhi ने non-violence किया, asceticism किया, मरा गोली से. सावरकर ने वायलेंस बोला, एसेटिसिज्म को क्रिटिसाइज किया, और वो खुद एसेटिसिज्म से ही मरा अल्टीमेटली, because with the sadness of his wife's passing away. So now you comment on this.
I think Bhupendra is asking a question. Good human paradox is true. If you are good to others, you can't succeed. No, this is Bhupendra. I would say this is nothing to do with good or bad. I am saying this is a lifestyle. Asceticism is a lifestyle. हाँ. और मेन बात ये है कि तुम see, like I said, you can be an ascetic in your own home. You may not have biryani, you may not sleep in a very comfortable bed, you may not wear the best most fancy clothes, nice clothes. You can have a very ekdam like simple life, ekdam, quote unquote.
Yeah, I do intermittent fasting about 5 days a week. I eat only one meal a day and I don't eat meat. So I do qualify as an ascetic.
Ekdam, vegan ho, ekdam, But
yeah, mostly.
But imagine if you, same, like let's take you as an example. Let's say you advertised it all day, like you had a channel. Your channel was not based on this. Your channel was about
it's about
documenting
fasting.
how difficult your fasting life and your life is. Okay.
Yeah.
So how difficult it is to fast and all that shit. And that's the main thing. Like, तुमको lifestyle देखो, it's a marketing trick. It's a marketing gimmick, right? So. Whether you are truly ascetic or not doesn't matter. Whether Gandhi was sleeping naked with some women, it doesn't matter. What matters is he could show that he was a fakir. He could show that he was a very poor and simple man. So that is the main thing, right?
Yeah. And that is another thing I wanted to respond to I wanted to respond to Shekhar. Shekhar had asked that, but Dada, that Brahmins were not brain dead like today's academics. You see, today's academics are not brain dead, which is why they are the winners in this society. They are in power. System उनका है क्यों? अगर वो ब्रेन डेड होते तो उनके पास सिस्टम नहीं रहता, है ही इसलिए। अब वो बुद्धि
उसमें हम
उनके पास
आएंगे।
ही है,
We will
वो
come
गलत जगह पे डाल
yeah,
रहे हैं, वो प्रॉब्लम है,
yeah, yeah.
बुद्धि है।
We will come to modern day asceticism in a bit. So,
हम्म
but one thing is for sure, asceticism was always, like I'm saying, like through the centuries, like 500 BC to, you can note, to 2000 AD, right? uh, you can say that ekdam asceticism has value.
Yeah,
Okay.
brilliant, Nina. See,
So
he gets Mr. Sociologist, and which is why Narendra Modi is the third time prime minister.
yeah. अभी देखो, RSS is all about, देखो RSS क्या किया
RSS is
है
the
वो,
king of asceticism.
yeah,
RSS
yeah,
and Naxalites.
we will, there is a paper by Rajarshi Dasgupta, okay,
Okay.
who is from JNU, who is a professor in JNU. I think you can pull this up, तुमको images में मिल जाएगा, ascetic
Okay.
modalities, ascetic modalities बोल के, where he studies communists and sanghis, okay,
Holy
communists
shit.
primarily, okay,
Fuck.
and then he says कि इसमें common बात जो है कि they are
ई
both
बाबा।
ascetics, हाँ,
He
they will
bolcho.
both,
I just said it off the top of my head. There's actually research on this.
yeah, ascetic modalities. There's a paper by Rajarshi Dasgupta. You can check on
Ish.
Google Scholar. I think you will get a PDF also free. Um, yeah. So yes, ascetic modality, a critique of communist self-fashioning.
Fuck.
Okay.
Nice.
So you guys can get the this. He's a professor in JNU. Okay.
मजा आएगा।
So
Yes.
and the main thing is that the Modi example is very good because देखो मोदी जी का जो डायलॉग है ना, फकीर आदमी है झोला
झोला
लेके
लेके
निकल,
निकल। Yeah.
that thing that thing means that भाई देखो, he could have very much, I don't mind, like honestly, if Modi enjoys his life with Meloni, I don't care, okay. My point is this that my point is this that he has to show that he is above the average, he's different from
Yeah. Yeah.
his rivals, right, like Rahul
Absolutely.
Gandhi and all. And the main point of attacking Rahul Gandhi was not that he's stupid, he's stupid because he is privileged, हाँ,
Right.
privilege,
Right. Right.
and तुमको कोई लाइफ में कुछ मिला नहीं, देखो मोदी, like credit to him, Modi did roam around the whole country, you can understand by the way he talks and whatever he has, he's a whole thing, but जो देहाती मोदी है, the guy who goes to different parts of this country, and interacts with all kinds of poor people and poor Indians, whatever Indians जो है, uh, the fact that he interacts with these people personally, that aspect is very much an ascetic thing. जैसे Modi could have just been yet another, I mean, he has the talent to be just another random politician with a lot of wealth and money, right? वो तो हर कोई हो सकता है.
Yeah, because
But
we have had so many PMs who did not have such ground connection all over the country. तो
तुम
उसमें
अटल
क्या आ
बिहारी
गया?
वाजपेयी को देखो ना, अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी
Yeah.
pretty much, he had a pretty interesting life. Now, the thing is that why is Modi so powerful and Yogi so powerful? Because they have lives that are so different from a typical politician's life. They
And
don't roam
everyone
around.
wants this. Everyone says they
Yeah,
want
yeah,
an
yeah.
equal guy to be the prime minister or the president. Everyone wants someone better than them to be the prime minister and
Yeah.
the PM and president.
That's the whole image of asceticism that works. Why would
Yes.
see, Gandhi was just another lawyer,
Exactly.
right? Like he was just another
From
lawyer.
fucking South Africa, NRI,
Yeah.
Bilet Phero
And he had
lawyer,
like
all of a sudden is an
he had
ascetic.
5 kids or whatever, right? He
Yeah.
had 5 kids. He had a like marriage and like all that. Like he wasn't a माने एकदम उसने life wife पूरा enjoy किया है पूरा. Ascetic होने के बाद में enjoy किया है arguably. Okay. Now the main thing is that his like how could he become different from a guy like Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel or his guru?
Yeah, exactly.
क्या था Gokhale, who said
Exactly.
the most over
खुद
ये
का
line.
cool exclusive AG group बना लेना. That is the game always.
And Gandhi used that. Gandhi was actually sold to us by the British more than anybody else, right?
Yes, and
So,
Gokhale.
Exactly. And that's the main thing. Like ahimsa and all these were all tools. Like, dekho,
Yes.
just as the Buddhists, they used to use ahimsa as a concept to discriminate against others, right? see, the Abhishek Mukherjee has caught on to what we are talking about actually.
And so has kind of Rudra Bose. See, Rudra,
Yeah.
Shashi Tharoor is not an ascetic, which is why he will never be a successful politician,
अरे उसको
other than how
कभी
much he.
वो he like उसका पिक्चर दिखा दिखा के खत्म कर देंगे. But imagine if you were doing all that in secret and you didn't know,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Then he was like so perfect for a candidate or as some big shot minister or PM or whatever, right?
Because
Huh.
why Aurangzeb is being tried? The people are trying to sell off Aurangzeb, sell Aurangzeb
Yeah.
as a
Exactly.
okay, he was a pious, calm Muslim, but of course he wanted to kill Kafirs regardless of that. वो अलग context है. But yes, the historians who are trying to sell Aurangzeb this way, they know that the mainstream Hindu liberal
Used
mind
to
worships.
टोपी सिलाई करता था ये करता
Yes,
था
he used to.
nice
Veena bajata tha. Today only while I was asking you for a Veena player. Aurangzeb used to play Veena.
yeah. Anyway, the main point is that देखो asceticism and power go hand in hand, okay? And इसमें अभी next step में आते हैं कि post Gandhi क्या होता है? हाँ, this is what we're trying to do. Abhishek Mukherjee has said it right. Communists use asceticism as a tool, as a political tool, the best. True. Because see, communists, we did a Bengali live stream called Bhalo Kaku, right? And we were talking about how these communist leaders, and that's exactly what Rajarshi Dasgupta is talking about, that the simple lifestyle, the jhola, the torn ganji, the torn kurta, sorry, not ganji, the torn kurta, the torn pajamas, right?
Yeah, when Kanhaiya Kumar became the Congress candidate, the first thing people showed off, and his people showed off, is that see, his parents live in a dilapidated house. That's a big achievement for him.
But he could have been a CEO, right?
Yeah.
African studies में PhD करके CEO बन ही सकता था. But my point is that
is M. Shastri really wrong? I mean, I think we agree on the point. I think this is just a semantic disagreement.
No. Think of it this way. Why does Warren Buffett's lifestyle interest you so much? We are selling asceticism. We're not selling piety. Asceticism और piety में फर्क है.
Yeah. Piety would be a bit too on the religious side and a bit of a theology side.
Why would communist leaders try to be ascetic? उनमें क्या piety है? Asceticism है, piety नहीं है. Right? Even if the communist leaders pray to Lenin and Stalin, it doesn't matter. My point is this, that it doesn't matter. They don't have gods, but they can sell themselves as good people that you can trust during elections. ये जो संघ और शत्र, remember this, right? That Sangha Shatra, that Kshatriya versus Brahmin, that artificial divide, okay, that divide is the main thing. कि पार्टी का जो अंकल जी है पारा में वो बहुत अच्छे हैं. हाँ, the uncle in our neighborhood who is a communist, and because he is a communist, he does not indulge himself. He sends his son and daughter to. अभी ऐसे भी commies हैं who actually send their daughter and son to some government schools just to make a point, like how poor he is and how much he trusts the state. Okay.
Yes, that the government schools are functioning well. He will go ahead and prove that because he's that devoted to the party.
And personally, a lot of people say, see, because he's a communist leader, he's a great communist. He never took advantages from the party, ever.
Yes, exactly.
So ऐसा भी है, but that's the main thing. But what is the result of this? What is the result of projecting that a guy is very ascetic in your neighborhood and he's a member of
the overall party gets that insane amounts of social status.
Yes. And इसमें Bernie भी है. Bernie is also a part of the same thing. Bernie is a nice guy. Bernie cares about you. Bernie is not like Trump, not like even the Clintons who are so hungry for power. Bernie does not care about power at all. He just has a few $1 million and some villas and stuff. That's fine. That's standard stuff.
Yeah. And actually, I would like to interrupt you a little bit and take M. Shastri's point here, because it's actually a very interesting point, because he is pointing out something that I also agree with. But this is another factor that yes, Indira's Havans were up that kitna bada Hindu hu wo dikhane ka factor tha. Yes, that is also a problem. But you, and that's done by every Trinamooli in every part of West Bengal, by the way.
और फिर मोटा चेन, सोने का चेन पहनेंगे
Yeah,
और
yeah, like
पजेरो
Anubrata
गाड़ी में
Mondal's, all of
Yeah.
Anubrata Mondal's illegal mills are named after different forms of Lord Shiva. So, Bam Bhole mill, Joy Bhole Baba mill, Joy Shankar mill, everything is named after a god or goddess. And but you see, the very next point that M Shastri makes here, M Shastri, I think you are getting it wrong. Gandhi's victory was not just because of his religiosity or piety. That was a asceticism issue. But yes,
Yeah.
Indira Gandhi's is a piety issue. Trinamool's is a piety issue, and
Yeah.
also piety plus asceticism combined actually for Trinamool.
Precisely.
Whereas for commies, it's just asceticism. So you did bring up a good point, but there
No,
are
I
other
think
stuff.
that's a good point because
Yeah.
देखो, look at the difference between what Rahul Gandhi does and what Indira Gandhi does. Okay.
Exactly.
Indira tried, except that one time when she lost the election to the Janata Party, she did like travel a lot and stuff. But overall, wahi ek same hai na, Jagan Mohan Reddy, everyone. Like look at all these great politicians, right? The main claim to fame is भाई ये तो बहुत बड़ा आदमी है, बहुत बड़ा आदमी का बेटा है, but और बेटी है, whatever.
और फिर भी
they are coming. So that's the class angle. Like if you guys read Rodney Stark's paper on asceticism, upper class asceticism.
Oh yeah, let's check.
Just take that out a bit. I'll have some tea. You don't mind. Yeah. So Rodney Stark जो बोल रहा है, he's saying that upper class asceticism, why does it matter? Because Abhay, we will come to your point. That's a very good point actually, what Abhay is saying right now. वो जो है, Rodney Stark is saying the opium of the masses. Yes, this one. I think you'll get the PDF here as well. Yeah, this one.
Nice.
अभी देखो, वो जो बोल रहा है कि कोई भिखारी ना खाए तो कोई बात नहीं है. Nobody cares if a beggar doesn't eat. But if a rich man's son like Rahul Gandhi does not eat, okay, fasts. If a barrister, very rich, powerful barrister from South Africa does not eat, he fasts. That is how you are controlling. So I was reading up a bit on asceticism. Asceticism mein your main challenge is yourself. You are showing that in a war against yourself, you are winning by fasting, by not indulging yourself in material pleasures and life.
Yes.
So you are winning against yourself, and that is the most difficult battle, right? Killing a guy or defeating a guy in war or election, वो तो बहुत को लोग करते हैं. वो तो हर घर का काउंसिलर, पाड़ा का काउंसिलर भी कर लेता है. वो how are you different? You are different because you are able to show yourself as more powerful enough to forsake all the greed, all the
renunciation again.
Renounce everything, right? And ये देखो, this stands to reason because the Buddhist monks of the like early Buddhism, it's a very short paper also, it won't take very long. ये बोल रहा है कि asceticism is the opium of the masses. Religion is not the opium of the masses. Asceticism is the opium of the masses.
Yes.
So ये जो बोल रहा है Rodney Stark, and I agree because if you guys read Uma Chakravarti's there's a book on early Buddhism. And many other books, Goldenberg, all these, like many, even Max Weber called this lifestyle as monastic landlordism. Yeah, this one, the social dimensions of early Buddhism. Okay, monastic landlordism मतलब ये है कि you are a landlord, तुमको enjoy कर रहे हो. Landlord मतलब क्या? तुम्हारा जमीन है बहुत बड़ा.
RSS का दल्ला Max Weber एजेंट नहीं है.
So Max Weber was proven right actually again, because he said that ये जो ब्राह्मण, ये जो बुद्धिस्ट हो रहा है, monks, they are mainly from rich families and well-to-do noble ka families. They are not beggars who become ascetics. Okay, And the same
Yeah.
thing can be said about what Rodney Stark is saying when he analyzes the origins of Christian monks who are also coming mostly from noble families. Okay, so
I can't stop laughing after this comment. Oh fuck.
communism is the
Communism is the opium of the masses. Oh, holy ও আমাদের কমেন্ট সেকশনটা তো and yes, sorry for interrupting,
yeah,
but
no,
I completely okay. Let's see what's wait, we'll get to M Shastri's disagreement a little later, but Ninar almost pointed out something correct, fell short a little, which is Ninar. The problem with BJP West Bengal is that they are neither completely Savarkarite, they are neither completely socialist. Okay, that is the problem. There's a huge messaging problem. No one knows what exactly does BJP stand for. Okay, in the mainstream.
नहीं बेंगल में it's all about जोरजार मुलुकतार, like who can defeat the
Yeah.
existing
At best, you could argue they are see, our name is not Trinamool Congress. That's the best we can offer you. Best we can do.
yeah, and we have the power to defeat them. We're not doing it, but we have the
Yeah,
power
we are
to
in the center and stuff. We have so many states already. We can do
yes,
something
yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like we've discussed earlier also, West Bengal में change is always implemented from the center. ये अलग बात है, Bengalis never implement their own change. It's always done with the help of the center. Okay. जब जब सेंट्रल चाहा है तभी तभी वेस्ट बंगाल में पावर चेंज हुआ है. हाँ.
Now we'll get to Abhay's point also. Remember Abhay's point? We'll get to M Shastri's also. And I want to just remind you that we'll have to get to the socialism aspect of this all because of the Hindutvadi socialists. Because they are also the biggest problem in this asceticism conversation. But let's check out in that context. Let's check out M Shastri's problem here. So he's saying that you all are missing a point, that why would a dharmic adopt asceticism to prove that they can take more suffering? Taking more suffering is a status symbol.
Yes,
yes,
you solved that.
We agree.
Solved it. Suffering is
he's saying that.
Yeah, exactly. See, karma. That whole thing, like suffering, kitna suffer kar paoge? That is the main question, right? Like
every Bengali is an ascetic by now then.
Ha. Now the main thing is that वो अलग बात है, that part I'm not talking about. Like, let's say you have access to good food, you have access to good clothes, you have access to good living conditions, but you are deliberately not doing it. You are deliberately not eating that food. सामने बिरयानी पड़ा है, तुम नहीं खाओगे. That is asceticism. Understand what we're trying to say. Rahul Gandhi can chill in his BMW house क्या है उसका, प्रसाद में महल में रहता है with 50 servants. He can stay like that forever. He doesn't need to I don't know what he does. Temple run नहीं करना पड़ेगा राहुल गांधी को to have a chill life. Like इतना पैसा he can chill.
Yeah.
But power के लिए तो कुछ करना है. उस power के लिए उसको temple run करना पड़ता है. Okay. The clothes he wears are very costly clothes. He will not wear हमारे जैसा discount में 3 शर्ट खरीद लिया 1000 रुपया में, वो वाला नहीं करेगा. Okay, his shirts each cost 20,000 30,000 rupees minimum. But the point is, those are very simple shirts. Those are not
not flashy, costly but not flashy.
And वो क्या करेगा, उसी शर्ट पहन के वो सारा देश में टेम्पल रन, नॉर्मल रनिंग, जॉगिंग, स्विमिंग, whatever he will do with, he will suddenly go and make rotis for someone. But that's the whole thing. Like Rahul Gandhi making a roti for you, random roti wala making roti for you are different things, right? That's the thing. Or you see, that is going to give him power.
Yes. Now, I'm taking Varun's question here, even though we don't take stuff that can get us demonetized and stuff or have FIR against our name. But we did touch upon this a little in our phone conversation. So just tell us that angle, the Christianity angle in asceticism, especially Orthodox Christianity, and the literature you were mentioning.
Yeah, so there is a book on food and asceticism, Christian vegetarianism, that I was reading about. Okay, like And actually, Rodney Stark and others, like if you Google Christianity and asceticism, now I can refer for, because many people don't like reading books, and me neither.
Hmm.
So you guys can watch this movie called this thing, The Name of the Rose. Okay,
Ah, oh, what a movie! Ah,
you've seen it.
oh,
Okay, great.
100 times.
That movie is brilliant because that Franciscan order and the orders of the monastic life that they had, like the Christian, जो साधु बोलते हैं हम लोग, right? Yeah,
Hmm.
Marcus Aurelius, other people were there. So उसमें जो जो Christians थे, उनमें भी बहुत डिनोमिनेशन था, जिनमें एक एक है कि
Yeah.
एकदम रिच कैथोलिक, जो जो एकदम मतलब पैसे वाला बिशप, वो आ रहा है घोड़े घोड़े पे सवार होके विथ
Hmm.
वेल्थ, मोटा चेन एंड ऑल दैट,
With
एंड यू
servants
हैव
and stuff, a lot of them.
सर्वेंट्स, एकदम पूरा एकदम माने लोडेड कांग्रेस
Yeah.
कांग्रेस लीडर, एंड एक आ
Yes.
रहा है वो फ्रांसिस्कन लीडर, आरएसएस का,
Yes.
आरएसएस
With
प्रचारक,
just one shishya.
हाँ, who has one एकदम, और वो भी कपड़ा एकदम गरीब भिखारी के तरह कपड़ा पहन के भिक्षा करके जिंदा है वैसे. So Christianity very much sold the asceticism image. And remember the reform movement, the Protestant movement,
Hmm.
the why it happened is a different issue, like the
Yeah.
politics behind it was different issue.
Hmm.
But one aspect of the reform movement within Christianity was that, अरे भाई ये कैथोलिक्स क्या कर रहे हैं, ये लोग
Hmm.
पैसे पैसे के साथ खेल रहे हैं, वो तो सही नहीं है. So
Hmm.
the reformist movement was certainly based on that aspect. Okay,
Yeah.
so I think if you
Now,
guys want a graphical representation, or a good year, you guys should generally watch that movie, The Name of the Rose. It's, I guess Neerajan loves it.
yeah.
I love it too. I think you guys would love it as well.
Yeah.
It's about a medieval, a time in medieval Europe.
The year of our Lord 1342, Italy.
Yeah.
Uh,
अरे वाह, तुम तो
a
बहुत बार
distant, remote abbey. It's a story by Umberto Eco. It has brilliant
yeah.
acting, brilliant story. It's basically a crime thriller, okay, first and foremost. So definitely do watch it. What's his name? I forgot the name of the hero. The James Bond
अरे
guy.
हमारा जेम्स बॉन्ड,
Sean Connery. Sean
Sean
Connery.
Connery.
Sean Connery is the lead. So anyway, next point will be after that we'll take Abhay's point. Next point is what to do with socialist Hindutvadis who are convinced that the main reason India survived, the main reason Hinduism is better than everyone is because of our socialist nature. That गरीब लोग खेते पाচ্ছে ना, गरीब लोगों को खाना नहीं मिल रहा है, therefore we must all be mendicant, poor, etc. And that goes against everything that Chanakya dreamed of. That goes against even Savarkar. So what's this obsession with poverty that even Hindus have and Hindutvadis have? What to do about
No,
that?
I think it's because of the very multicultural nature of Hinduism, right? Like
Fair enough.
Hinduism adopts so much from everything, because देखो, that is why we survived as well. We didn't survive because of poverty or rich or this or that. We survived because we adapted from time to time,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And ये जो एडेप्टेशन का बात है, विदाउट लूजिंग आवर लाइक मेन स्टैंड ऑफ डीएनए, मतलब इतना भी अडॉप्ट नहीं किया कि कुछ और ही बन गए, वैसा नहीं है. बट द मेन थिंग इज दैट व्हाट वी आर लुकिंग एट इज if these socialists, the so-called poverty porn Hindutvawadis or whatever, these people, they have misunderstood the whole concept of why Hindutva is needed. Hindutva has little to do with what your personal food or lifestyle preferences are. Hindutva has something to do with your identitarian, your identity, your name, your surname, your name, your मतलब lifestyle भी आ जाता है, तो what food you can eat, right? Like मतलब तुम अभी pork खाना चाहते हो, इंडिया में खा सकते हो, बहुत देशों में नहीं खा सकते हो. You want to drink wine, you can drink wine in India. You can't have that in other parts of this world, in many parts of this world. So that's the main thing. Like Hindutva preserves a certain community's existence. So it has very little to do with whether you are rich, poor, ascetic, non-ascetic. If anything, the Jews, if they decided to become poor, and the इनका जो main मसीहा है Israel, हाँ, Zionists, ये Zionist अगर पैसा वैसा इनकम करना छोड़ देते तो अलग ही बात होता अभी. हाँ.
Yeah.
So that's the whole thing.
So there were many people. The last time I went on Rebecca Varsev's podcast, some people commented that, haha, you are so obsessed with billionaires and stuff. What's the use of them, etc.? What will academics do, etc.? They are saying it on a Jewish girl's podcast.
Yeah.
And it was Hindutvadi socialists saying these things. What are they? Are they blind or deaf? What the fuck is going on?
No, and look at it this way. ये जो academic लोग है कि गांधी है, ultimately anyone who is pretending to be an ascetic, why are they doing it? They're doing it for more power and money, right?
Yeah.
So तुमको अगर academic लोग को चाहिए, yeah, you have to support your academics some way, right? Yeah, and it's easy. Like I said, it's easier for a rich or privileged person to be an ascetic. Why? Okay, let's say take APJ Abdul Kalam's example, right? We love him because he's an ascetic. Like if you are just a normal scientist, right? उतना भी उनका brand नहीं होता. His brand was that he's a very ascetic person. He actually played the veena, as far as I know, right? And he built missiles and all that. So जो भी हो, ये जो ascetic image था उनका, क्या बोल रहा था मैं, हाँ, अब एपीजे अब्दुल कलाम. सो जो द aesthetic image of APJ Abdul Kalam, that was what made him also very powerful. But ये जो है कि he came from a very poor background. He came from a very poor village, fishing village in Tamil Nadu, as far as I remember. Okay.
Yeah. And he was genuinely poor.
He was genuinely poor. But if you analyze his life, he had the brains to become very rich. He could have been a foreign mein jaake, he could have been another like American scientist. He could have easily gotten a visa, green card, and become a great scientist. He could have invented 20 missiles for them as well. My point is ki he did not do that. And that is why you can, and yeah, he was a bachelor on top of that, right? So my point is this. Abhi, dekho, Bhupendra has written a very important thing. Ambani is, dekho, why is Ambani always contrasted with Tata? Both are fucking rich, both own huge companies. But why are they contrasted? They say Tata has class, Ambani does not. Okay. It is simply because Ambanis show their wealth, Tata does not show it off. It's very simple. It's Tata can build 10 Antilas. Tata can have whatever he's like. He can have Salman and Shahrukh dance for him every day, whatever. But he doesn't do that, right?
Now, I would like to respond to Rishi here. Rishi, see what we are saying. If you take it just as a criticism, then of course we can talk further about APJ Abdul Kalam. But we are not talking about it just as a criticism of specific people. Okay, we are talking about being aware of fake ascetics. Okay, first and foremost. But even if it comes across to you as a criticism of APJ Abdul Kalam, then I would like to clarify that it's not, because we are pointing out that he gets extra respect by doing that. Whether he was doing it as a fake person or not, or whether he was actually interested in a simple lifestyle, we don't know. We'll never know.
No.
And therefore,
humble, I think
maybe
something else. Humble or ascetic. Matlab, if
you're humble and simple, you'll have the same lifestyle as an ascetic person.
Yeah, but the main thing is you don't need to be humble, right? You don't need to be ascetic. You don't need to. You could marry. You could have a good life. You don't do that.
Abdul Kalam could have.
You serve the country. You face hardships and you serve the country, right?
Could have, magar nahi kiya. Wohi source of power hai.
Yes, that is the source of power of any. Same with, remember Rahul Gandhi and Mahatma Gandhi and all these people. You will understand what we're talking about. Now the main thing is, dekho, ye alag baat hai ki you can't compare somebody like Rahul Gandhi with APJ Abdul Kalam, right? One is actually genuinely respected for genuine reasons. Another is a joker. My point is different. My point is this, that his followers will say, भाई राहुल ने तो आज मतलब गरीबों के साथ खाना खाया. Rahul visited 50 temples, temple run kiya. Rahul, despite being royalty, he is walking with poor people. He's eating with poor people. Jo bhi ho. That is what I am saying. Like, that is the main thing. You do something that is not given. Let's say, even if I had 2% of Rahul Gandhi's wealth, I would have chilled in my home. I wouldn't have done any of the shit that he's doing. Okay.
Yeah.
because I want material comfort. I don't give two hoots about who cares about that or not. But Rahul Gandhi wants more power. He already has money, he has wealth. उनको कोई मतलब इनकम करने के लिए नहीं हो रहा है, बट वो गद्दी चाहिए ना. एंड गद्दी
Hmm.
चाहिए तो he has to out ascetic, he has to be a bigger ascetic than Modi, right?
हाँ.
In many ways he has to do something that Modi, मतलब राहुल ऐसे दिखाएगा कि you would not say that जैसे मोदी का because of his lifestyle nobody says that Modi stole 50 crore rupees, right? Modi stole 100
Hmm.
crore. Nobody's going to say that because Modi will just say that भाई मैंने CM रहने के time I did nothing, I did not
Hmm.
do anything for my relatives, I don't have anything, I don't even have a car, I don't have a house, okay जो भी हो. Rahul Gandhi cannot say that. Rahul Gandhi already is burdened with these things. So the
Right.
next best step for him to gain power or gain the symbolic capital is कि
Yeah.
भाई देखो, I can chill in a Mercedes, I can cry in a Mercedes, but I'm crying on the shoulder of a poor farmer in some part of this country, right?
Yeah.
So that is the main thing.
Yeah. And Rishi is saying that my point is that would an ascetic have a desire or karma to develop missiles and being so much successful like AP? See, he was successful, but not as much as he could have. Therefore, just to satisfy your line of argument, Rishi, a less controversial example would be, let's say, Amartya Sen and Abhijit Banerjee. They
Yeah,
did
yeah.
go to USA, no? They did take the Nobel. They did teach and
They
work
married
forever
they
in the
married
first world
Firangis.
countries.
They married Firangis.
they forever live the privilege life.
Yeah.
फिर भी उनका भी एसेटिसिज्म का ही इंप्रेशन रहता है. कैसे? क्योंकि वो भी
Yeah.
कोई वेल्थ का दिखावा कभी नहीं कर रहे हैं. जाते ऐसे ही वो मतलब झोला छाप क्लोथ्स पहन के. होगा कुछ मतलब कॉस्टली झोला छाप कुर्ता पजामा, मगर पहनेगा कुर्ता पजामा ही.
एब
सो
इंडिया
देयरफॉर
का
आई
कुर्ता
थिंक
होगा ना, मतलब
या
कोई गरीब वो वाला कुर्ता नहीं होगा ना जो मतलब हम लोग पहनते हैं, वो तो नहीं होगा. सो
या
दैट इज द थिंग, लाइक you have to understand, like, look at Barack Obama, how his image was built up. Barack Obama
या
was shown as a middle class chap.
एंड अ
uh,
कम्युनिटी ऑर्गेनाइजर, जूनियर
yeah,
सेनेटर.
yeah. And look at it this way. Obama was very much like, Obama's lifestyle is very much in contrast to Trump's lifestyle. Pura ulta.
राइट.
हाँ. And that's the main idea. Bernie,
यस.
Obama, these guys, the left always plays these, these cards of, अरे आदमी अच्छा है, जो भी हो बोला
राइट.
आदमी
राइट.
अच्छा है,
या
चोरी तो नहीं करेगा. हाँ. And the
या
same shit they're trying to do with Rahul, like it's all an image, it's all PR tricks. That part you guys know.
या
My main thing
यस.
is we're doing a historical deconstruction of this. We're
या
trying to show you कि ये पहले भी हो चुका है, ये बार बार होता रहेगा. Okay.
या
And even the people in West Bengal, there are leaders in West Bengal कि अभी देखो TMC आने आ गया तो अलग बात है, but earlier it was shown as that that there are ascetic leaders in the TMC, right? वैसे CPM का हर टाइम ऐसा रहता है कि CPM does not steal money. CPM leaders are so nice. They are very nice people. They don't steal money. They will not wear fat chains. Their son might be in the US. Their son or daughter will go to the US and
या
work for a big tech company or something and earn crores. That is different. But ये लोग शो ऑफ नहीं करते हैं. ये लोग एकदम सिंपल कपड़ा पहनते हैं.
Neener, which is why the point is about show off. The point is not who is actually ascetic, who is actually poor. So Hillary might not be an actual ascetic, okay, than Trump, but she never showed it off like Trump.
अरे
She was not
Hillary क्या
flamboyant about
बोलेगा?
her wealth. No.
What did Trump say? Grab her by the whatever. My
Yeah.
point is Hillary ऐसा नहीं बोलेगा. Why Trump को ऐसा दिखा रहा है out of control, lustful बंदा एकदम. मतलब कुछ भी वो, he sees a woman, he can't control himself. He sees money, he can't control himself.
Yeah.
His friends
And
are
Hillary will not go to
billionaires.
WWE. Hillary will
Yeah.
not have a flamboyant reality show. She will go to prim and proper, dignified reality shows only. Therefore, she will be ascetic. Trump won't be. Hillary doesn't have three husbands
अभी
like
देखो,
Trump
it's
officially
about
has.
it's about the war with yourself, right? It's about the war with yourself.
Hmm.
Trump is shown as an out of control weirdo. Why?
Hmm.
Because it's a war with himself. He can't control himself when he sees women or money.
Hmm.
जो ये कंट्रोल कर पाएगा women और money देख के कंट्रोल, कामिनी कांचन जो है, most people have both weaknesses or one weakness, right? Kamini Kanchon, right? So
Oh, yeah.
that thing, like, if you don't give in to these weaknesses, you are superior than most people.
Even though
Right.
she has actually probably given into those weaknesses, but nobody fucking knows, or whoever
Exactly.
tried to know,
हाँ,
they
वो
committed
एडवर्टाइज नहीं
suicide.
होगा, वो एडवर्टाइजमेंट
Yeah,
नहीं करेंगे,
that is
ट्रम्प
the game.
एडवर्टाइज.
Yeah, and Rishi, here I would like to disagree with you vehemently. Yogi ji's asceticism in his personal life is not socialist in any way, because he is pushing economic growth from the very moment he became the CM. He has a full-fledged plan of $1 trillion economy. No socialist would ever
Yeah.
say those things.
Yeah.
Therefore, his asceticism has absolutely nothing to do with
See,
socialism.
there's a difference between
His
Ashoka
yeah,
and somebody like Yogi, right? Ashoka
yeah,
enforced his ideology on everyone. योगी कभी नहीं बोला कि हर कोई स्कूल घर वर छोड़ के जाओ तपस्या करो. He never said that. He's
yes,
actually that the asceticism of his life, but that gives him power, right? Asceticism does give him power. Now, if you hear that Yogi Adityanath के नाम पे कोई corruption case है, you will not believe it
yeah,
easily. That's
yeah,
the power. But
yeah,
if you hear
exactly. That is a different thing.
corruption case against somebody like, I don't know, BJP में ही किसी को बोलो, BJP is a like common punching bag of everyone.
Kailash
कोई
Vijayvargiya.
Kailash Vijayvargiya, good example. So you hear you hear Kailash Vijayvargiya stole some crores of rupees, you will believe it, right?
Yeah,
It's because of the one's adaptation of asceticism and the other's rejection was of asceticism. Okay. योगी अडॉप्टेड एसेटिसिज्म. यू नो दैट भाई सुनोगे भी तुमको 5 बार कोई मतलब एकदम प्रूफ दिखाना पड़ेगा. हाँ, केशव प्रसाद मौर्य भी चलेगा. माय पॉइंट इज दिस. ओके, हिलरी ऑलवेज वेंट फॉर पॉम्प एंड सर्कमस्टेंस. अ फेक यूरोपियन. एग्जैक्टली. ये भी है, ये यूरोपियन एलिट चलेगा. व्हाई? यूरोपियन एलिट्स आर अंडरस्टेटेड. दे आर नॉट द ग्लिट्सी ग्लैमर. सेम सिमिलर डिफरेंस.
same reason is
सेम. वो तुम देहाती म्यूजिक, छपड़ी म्यूजिक वर्सेस तुम्हारा वो पंजाबी रैप वर्सेस मुंबई रैप. ओके, मुंबई rappers are richer probably, but they will not show off the Lamborghini. Punjabi rappers will show off the Lamborghini. So you think that the gully boy कोई पंजाबी को ऊपर नहीं बनाएगा. Gully boy वो उसमें ही दिखाएगा. हाँ. So that is the thing. So it's a situational value actually, asceticism, and there are many forms of asceticism.
Right. Now, for the last point of today, we will touch upon the person in our thumbnail on the right, Kanu Shannal, and a bit of Charu Majumdar as well, and Mamata Banerjee's asceticism that she has tried to signal forever with her slippers, with her Hawaii chappal. So, can you tie these three people together? What's common between these three people?
एक पेपर गूगल करो, गूगल स्कॉलर में जाके, ममता ascetic, you will get it.
Oh, इसमें भी पेपर है? What the fuck?
सब किसी का पेपर है. खोज, आप ढूंढो तो सही. हाँ. So the ascetic modalities paper, that you will get the communist asceticism. Okay.
Political asceticism of Mamata Banerjee.
PDF भी है. वाह भाई. एकदम.
Oh.
So this is the main thing. You have to और एक है मुकुलिका बनर्जी, her work is also there, but asceticism के ऊपर किया है कि नहीं वो नहीं मालूम. ये एकदम लेटेस्ट है, 2022 में है. So my point is this, that look at how these Maoist or these other leaders, the communist leaders, okay, leftists, they dress up their actual motives of state power. मतलब उनको power चाहिए, but they don't say मुझे power चाहिए. They never say that. They said that the people, the proletariat want the power through their movement. And उनके movement से क्या हो रहा है? Most of them, firstly, they are from Brahmin families. Number one, including Mamata Banerjee. Okay. So उनको हिंदुइज्म का जो खीर है वो मिला है पहले. Now they have the cultural capital, what Bourdieu calls cultural capital. They have economic capital sometimes, right? They went to good universities and colleges. So, but instead of joining a corporation, they are now fighting for the ये जैसे वो है ना लद्दाख में जोकर है ना, वो एक कभी कभी करता रहता है. That joker is also one of them, right? लद्दाख का जोकर. क्या नाम है उसका?
Okay. No. We are not going to name him. We are not going to confirm our insinuation.
समझ लो. हाँ.
Yeah.
So जो मैं बोल रहा हूँ कि नो एम शास्त्री, there is a book on Gandhi by Rudolph and Rudolph. Just check this, Neerajan.
Okay.
Book on Gandhi by Rudolph and Rudolph, and you can extrapolate that. I think Indira के ऊपर कुछ works है, but I am not aware. But on Mahatma Gandhi there was Gandhi, the traditional roots of charisma. ये वाला. This is a brilliant book because Rudolph and Rudolph wrote about how this Rajorshi character, like a Raja who's a rishi, like
Right.
who
वो
doesn't
झोला
want.
लेके निकल पड़ेंगे हम तो
अभी देखो देखो
फकीरत में.
यहाँ पे क्या लिखा है. Deeply rooted, the key to his political influence was his ability to retain realize in public actions Indian honored but could not. Ideals are traditional Hindu beliefs. नहीं दिख रहा है अभी. नीचे और नीचे करो. Traditional Hindu beliefs and persons का self control. Yeah, this one. ये जो है ये रिलीजियन के ऊपर प्ले है, बट इट्स मोस्टली अ काइंड ऑफ ascetic सेल्फ फैशनिंग जो हम बोल सकते हैं. ओके. ये जो सेल्फ कंट्रोल है, हाँ, सेल्फ कंट्रोल, तुम कितना सेल्फ के ऊपर कंट्रोल कर पा रहे हो, वही है द asceticism. फाइट विथ योर सेल्फ, and Gandhi
Right.
exemplified that. Same thing can be said about somebody like Kanu Sannal and other communist leaders and all, that they can do so much more. They can join MNCs, they can do a lot.
Yeah,
But
because they were highly educationally qualified forever. They were
yeah.
absolutely
So
brilliant students.
ये जो brilliant student quote unquote, ये है
Bright
main.
student.
bright
मेधावी
student,
छात्र.
एकदम ये जो है ये है कम्युनिस्ट सेल्फ फैशनिंग का एकदम हाइट. और द बेंगोलीज हियर विल नो that whenever anyone talks about the Naxal movement, the first thing they will say is वाह क्या स्टूडेंट है, वाह क्या एक्टिंग है, उसका लेटेस्ट वर्जन वाह क्या स्टूडेंट है.
Yeah, they will reminiscence in a sad tone that the Congress government jeopardized their plans so harshly, but they were all so great, brilliant students.
और ये ग्रेट स्टूडेंट में छिपा हुआ है उसका जो रूट्स ऑफ एसेटिसिज्म, कि वो कर सकता था. He could have drank the Kool-Aid, he could have drank the capitalist Kool-Aid and worked for the government, or he could have worked for an MNC, earned crores of rupees. No, they didn't do all that. They actually fought against the state for the sake of poor people, right?
For poor people, yes. गरीब लोगों को खाना नहीं मिल रहा है.
Exactly. So that's the whole stick of how they used this मतलब asceticism is all about मैं कर सकता हूं, मैं करूंगा नहीं. I will do something against logic. और इसमें है कि you guys should read that book Freaks, Geeks and Cool Kids by this one Murray Milner Jr. उसमें एक point है, there is a part where he describes asceticism as a coolness as a form of asceticism. बोल रहा है कि cool जो बंदा है, I'm not talking about the jocks and the cheerleaders kind of people. There are those people who are cool, who are not like physically strong and all that. But ऐसे भी बंदे हैं जो मतलब who are experts at something, but they will not stick to the normal everyday. So what Murray Milner says is, and this is a play on the play on old sociological concepts as well, sociological and philosophical concepts, that ये जो तुम challenge दे रहे हो ना, तुम्हारे जो lifestyle है, that you are challenging the existing power structures through your lifestyle. Like you can drink the Kool-Aid and become a jock or a cheerleader or whatever, but you're choosing to study, you are choosing to kind of refashion your identity as something else entirely. तो अभी तुम्हारा जो claim to fame होगा कि ये बंदा अलग है.
The non-conformist.
The non-conformist. And ये non-conformism में, by challenging the status quo through your lifestyle and whatever, you are able to kind of undo a lot of stuff. Okay, you are able to kind of challenge the normative views about a person like you. मतलब teenager है, उसको तो खेलना चाहिए. He should drink booze, he should party with young other teenagers and all, have girlfriends and all, ये सब है. But let's say you're not doing that, you're working very hard, you're studying very hard, okay, then you might be a freak for some, but through that freakiness, you are actually cultivating a kind of lifestyle that will make you succeed in the world in a different way.
Yeah.
Okay. Or you are challenging the dominant power structure. और देखो हर फिल्म में तो अमेरिका में जो जो ये जो टीन मूवीज थे like she's all that and all that whatever, the main thing was how these jocks are actually stupid and they didn't stand a
Yeah.
chance. Like the winner was always a guy. karate kid देख लो कि मतलब एकदम नॉर्मल बंदा है उसको there was this jock bullying guy who was a karate expert और इसका दो हफ्ते का क्रैश कोर्स करके उसको हरा दिया. ठीक है.
Yeah.
मतलब he like if
The
you
genius nerds who don't take part in the mainstream rat race and therefore are also
या वो है या ऐसा रैट रेस में होगा कि बहुत एडवांस रैट रेस, मतलब इतना एडवांस
Yeah.
रैट रेस कि
yes
ये जॉक वॉक नहीं कर पाएंगे वो.
yeah
हाँ.
exactly.
So that is where all this stuff comes and that is why you see these ये जो कौमी लीडर्स है ये लोग बोलेंगे कि फर्स्ट लाइन यू विल हियर इज सीताराम येचुरी. व्हेन आई वाज टॉकिंग टू अ गाय ही वाज लाइक सीताराम येचुरी टॉप 10 टॉप 10 क्लास 10 क्लास 12 जो भी हो. आई वाज लाइक उससे देश का क्या फायदा हुआ? आई मीन हिज पार्टी अल्टीमेटली रूइंड माय स्टेट, राइट? आई डोंट
Every
केयर.
significant communist CPIML CPIM Naxal leader was a brilliant student.
Yeah. And more importantly, if you look at Max Weber's definition of status, यहाँ पे आते हैं. Max Weber said this is about honor and prestige in society, right? Now honor and prestige in society कहाँ से मिलेगा तुमको? सोच लो कि तुम you are a royal एकदम prince or something, but तुम नहीं भी हो. सोच लो कि तुम नहीं हो रॉयल प्रिंस विंस कुछ भी, तुम एवरेज मिडिल क्लास बंदा हो, but you can make a difference by being superior in your lifestyle, by studying a lot, by एकदम पूरा वो क्या बोलते हैं एकदम ascetic lifestyle करके.
Yeah.
या तुम में है जीनियस तुम नहीं यूज किया हुआ, ऐसा बात है. मतलब that is the main aspect. You can do it but you won't. Okay. And that is the main power of depriving yourself. That
Yeah.
will give you
So-
more and more power in the eyes of the public.
yes.
और यही गेम ये लोग खेलते हैं, the left.
Yeah. So we'll just take this last question and then we'll go end our live stream today. So why did the average Bengali conform to the culture of Bharat? Because dystopian lad, in every society, everywhere in the history of mankind, whatever is done by the upper castes, in the sense that castes are status groups which are inevitable everywhere in the history of mankind, the upper castes will be emulated by the lower castes, and the moment the lower castes enter their exclusive groups, the upper castes will run away and set up some other exclusive group. So the reason that the culture of Bhadraloks is looked upon as the thing to emulate is because that culture is done by Bhadraloks. If the same consumption patterns were done by scheduled castes, no one would have given a shit about it. It just so happens that the specific things that we try to emulate in Bengal are the things done by Brahmins, Boitos and Kaistos. And similarly, if you read India That is Bharat by Jesai Deepak, you'll notice that he is bringing out decolonial literature from the context of Africa and Latin America, that how colonization, how coloniality was furthered, how to keep the masses colonialized and colonized as well. That anytime a colonizer comes in a new country, first and foremost, create your own elite class, or whoever is the elite class, co-opt them, उनका दिमाग खाओ, उनको अपने जैसा बना दो, immediately सब आ जाएंगे उनको emulate करने में, because everyone emulates the upper castes and the elite of the society. Okay, so it's so applicable to India that I first thought, okay, so Jesai Deepak is quoting other people and they have written so much about India. It seems like they are talking about Congress and India. After reading 5-10 pages, I realized that, oh my god, no, they're talking about Africa. Exact same things happened in Africa. Exact same things happened in Latin America. That the colonizers went, co-opted the elite, everyone tried to copy the elite, and therefore colonization succeeded. That's how it works. Would you like to chime in?
René Girard's
yes, Mimesis.
theory. Wo, you guys will understand what we're talking about.
Yes,
and
because
again, like I think Neerajan explained it quite well. If you just read this like basic Wikipedia bhi पढ़ लो तो ठीक है, like
yeah,
then you understand that there is a theoretical basis for this claim as well.
Yeah. René Girard says that, see, object and subject is not the only thing going on here. you are the subject and that's the object you desire. No, your desire is not going direct. It's going through a model where you have a certain reason for desiring that. That's the signal you are giving to everyone else, which is the dikhava that that M. Shastri said, that we need to do a live stream and write more papers on the dikhava culture. That is exactly what Rene Girard calls mimesis. And when people who try to come across as a non-conformist, they are not. It's not that they don't have the dikhava in them. They are what Rene Girard calls, they are in the negative phase of mimesis. That their life is surrounded around negating the mimesis culture, but it's still around the mimesis only. So let's say what people will usually do is, if it's let's say a business meeting among billionaires, everyone goes to a fine dining restaurant, everyone is wearing $1,000 suit, everyone is ordering insanely costly food and stuff. So everyone tries to wear the costly clothes, right? So that's the mimesis going on. Even if someone can't afford, they will try to wear a very costly suit to that meeting.
Exactly.
But
exactly,
at the same time, Mark Zuckerberg goes there and wears a t-shirt like this. That's his negative phase of mimesis. That's a bigger power play, that I don't even give a shit about this meeting. I'm that cool.
Ekdam.
So everything happens because of the
because
signal.
now Mark Zuckerberg is doing it. Now you will also have the license to sometimes do it, because now कोई एक और elite class है जो अलग structure में बैठा है, who is doing it.
Yeah.
So both work. Like power is not, like Foucault said, that power is not, it's not unidirectional. It's not like a hammer. It's like capillaries. Yes. Power flows. Power is spread out. Okay.
Yeah.
And there are different sources of power.
Yeah.
Asceticism is one of them. We discussed a very important source of power today. That is asceticism.
Yes. And which is why people keep asking me, why don't I keep a mustache like a normal Hindu guy? And they think whether I'm trying to run from Muslims and stuff. It's not actually the case. I have been a metalhead for most of my life, and metal musicians usually keep a beard and not a mustache, especially the bassist for Metallica. He made this look famous because he was always ripped and shredded, kind of. He looked fit forever, and he had this look. That's I. तो अब मेरा जो फैशन सेंस है वो उसके बेसिस पे हो गया है. I can't get out of it. I can't pretend and cosplay to be a Hindu. I think I find this fashionable. अब मुझसे यही होगा. हम क्या करें?
Trad नहीं मानेंगे. चलो.
Okay, anyway. Thanks for joining, guys. It was a brilliant comment section as well.
I think the questions today were also pretty good.
Very stimulating.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining, guys. Thank you, Professor Christoph Lieselot. Yeah. Bye. Good night.
श्रवरूढं महाभीमं गुणाद्रष्टाङ्गरप्रदम् अस्य युक्तं त्रिनेत्रं च कपालकर्णिकाकरान् मुक्तकेशिं ललज्जियवं पिबन्तीं रुधिरं चतुर्बाहु समायुक्तं वराभयकरं स्मरेत् चतुर्बाहु समायुक्तं वराभयकरं स्मरेत् काली काली महा